Hey mamas, and welcome to the Entering Motherhood podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Marie Bilger, a wife, mom of two, VBAC mama, and doula. Join us every episode to learn from professionals, special guests, and moms just like you, ensuring that you know what you need to know and discover things that you didn't know before. I believe in you. Let's doula this, and let's navigate the transition of entering motherhood together. Hello, and welcome to the Entering Motherhood podcast. I'm so excited about today's episode. And if you are live with me right now at the Build Your Village Summit, you are experiencing the maybe shorter version of this, but the very much more intentional and interactive version of this conversation because you are there in person. But if you are tuning in only here on the podcast right now, that's okay too, because this episode is a full standalone deep dive into the idea of owning your birth and honestly owning any aspect of your life. With that being said, if you want to experience a little glimpse of the interactive journaling experience we did together in person at the Build Your Village Summit, you can pause this episode later and try it for yourself with the prompts that I will share towards the end of the episode. It may just take a little bit more intention and effort on your end to set the time aside and dedicate it to being present and reflecting on these questions and potentially even finding somebody to share these questions with. So if you were there in person, thank you so much for being there, and you should be proud of yourself for showing up and attending such an amazing event. And thank you also for tuning into this episode to get a little bit deeper of a dive and explore around on the podcast as well. So before we really dig in, let me just explain what I mean when I say own your birth or owning something. It's more than a catchy phrase. It's really a framework, and this is systemized around our Own Your Birth childbirth education course. This is where own really came from and where it originated from. So O stands for optimism and ownership. It's really believing that your experience matters and choosing to step into that with intention. You honestly can't control every detail of your birth as much as you want to or try to, or life in general also, but you can claim ownership over your choices and your mindset and the preparation that you do. So this is the O in own when I'm talking about owning your birth or owning an aspect of your life. The W stands for worthiness or well-being. And here I want you to understand that you are worthy of a positive and supported experience. You are worthy of being cared for, seen, and respected. Owning your well-being is also meaning that you are protecting your needs, even when it feels hard to ask for those needs. So you are really falling into that worthiness and well-being and intentionally going after that. Then the N stands for nourish and nurturing. So nourishing your body, your mind, your relationships, and also just incorporating your environment and nurturing that environment so that where you birth or where your postpartum is, it really is unfolding. And this isn't just self-care. It's more about feeding your resilience so that you can show up fully. So we are leaning into that nourishment. We are leaning into the nurturing, and we're allowing ourselves to be in that space and accept those things. So that's OWN, the O.W.N, and it's a way to look at your birth and honestly, like I said, any part of your life too. We are using the same framework to extend past our birth, to extend past our pregnancy, to extend past that postpartum, and really fall into this experience. It's a framework that helps you claim agency, even when things don't go exactly as planned. And this is why ownership really matters, because birth can feel unpredictable at times. Parenting can feel really messy at times. Life in general just doesn't always go the way that we imagined. But we can talk about owning our birth, and it's not about controlling everything. It's really just saying, this is mine. I will participate in the choices, and I will prepare where I can, and I'll allow myself to be supported in all these different ways and all these different aspects. So it's really just reframing and navigating and looking at it from a different perspective. It's about claiming your role in the process and setting yourself up to really own your birth and own your experiences. Ownership shifts us out of just passively going through things, and it really puts us in this present moment. And even if your birth doesn't go exactly as you envisioned, you can still walk away saying, I showed up, I advocated for myself, I made informed decisions, and I was heard, and I spoke up, and I made myself be heard. And that is ownership. That is owning your experience. And I also want to point out that there is a lyric that recently was stuck in my head. If you know what this is from, you get extra bonus points. But it says, if it's fire that you need, I'll be the kerosene. And it made me wonder, because here's the truth. Kerosene is powerful, it's fuel, but alone it doesn't make a fire. It's not going to create that fire if that's what you need. It is the fuel. And you also need a spark, and you need the right environment to create that fire. So there's multiple components that are going into it. It's not simply just the kerosene that is creating the fire. Your kerosene is your preparation. It might be the books that you read, the classes that you attend, the resources, the people, the support that you gather around you. But the spark is your intention. It's that clear moment when you say, this is mine, this is my decision, and this is my intent. And then your environment is that whole support system coming together. It's the conditions that allow that spark to become mixed with the kerosene and have that steady flame, that big explosion, whatever it is that you're looking for. So when you own your birth, you're tending to all three of those things: the fuel, the spark, and the environment. So I think that's really important to understand and visualize and comprehend, because it's not just one thing that's necessarily going to get us to our goal, but it's multiple things that are coming together and working together to create that whole experience. Let's break some of this down together. And this is really a practical, simple framework that you can use again and again when it comes to owning an aspect of your life, owning your birth, and really just taking ownership. So the first thing is naming it. Give that thing you want to own a clear name. Maybe it's, my birth plan is about being heard. My postpartum is all about rest. My mental health deserves to have check-ins. Whatever it is, name it. What are you owning? What are you making a priority? And then dive a little deeper. Define what ownership looks like for that one thing. Put 2 or 3 sentences behind it to really define it. Maybe say, I own my postpartum rest by setting a specific bedtime and asking my partner to handle some other aspect of what's going on. Then going down even further, pick one little micro commitment, something that you can do immediately to create this aspect to be possible. Maybe it's something that's only 10 minutes. Maybe it's a phone call, an email. Make it tiny. What is that one little micro commitment that you are doing? Number 4 is ask for support. tell a friend, tell your partner, tell a doula, tell them, I need you to do XYZ because I need support in making this possible. And then number 5 is designing your environment. Remove any sort of friction that might be happening to cause this environment to not be ideal for what you are trying to accomplish. Put support within easy reach, set reminders, and maybe even delegate a small task to somebody to help design your environment, create this environment. And then the last part is celebrate the spark. Notice the first small flame that comes from this and treat it like progress. Really acknowledge that spark and acknowledge the process of what's happening. And like I keep saying, this works for birth. This is perfect for birth, but it also works for almost anything else that you want to own. And I want to give you 3 examples of sparks that you can use immediately. These are small actions that light that flame without burning you out too. So the first one is a 10-minute check-in. Maybe this is just a small window of time where you ask yourself how you're doing, you write down one sentence, you choose one next step, and you really just do this small 10-minute check-in. Just do it every day. Dedicate, maybe it's the first 10 minutes of your day. Maybe it's the last 10 minutes at night, or maybe it's just 10 minutes that you know that you are going to have completely dedicated to yourself. Another one is just this really concrete ask. Ask someone for a specific time-limited task. Hey, can you pick up this for me? Or, hey, can you help out more? Whatever it is, just really creating that one concrete ask to get in that habit of asking for help, asking for more support, and getting comfortable with asking for that. And then a third one is a tiny ritual. This is maybe just a 1 or 2 minute practice that announces to your body that this is mine. Maybe take a breath. It's a short mantra. Maybe just lighting a candle or making a cup of tea in a very particular way and having that tiny ritual be part of your daily routine. So thinking of these 3 things and utilizing them to create that spark to get things moving and get things going and getting in the habit of doing things regularly. So then, like I said, if you were at the Build Your Village Summit and you were there in person, you got to experience this and actually set the time aside and pause and reflect and think about these questions. But if you're listening at home, grab yourself a notebook. If you are in the car or doing something that you can't dedicate the focus to right now, come back to this later or write these things down and do this for yourself. And for these questions, I really want you to pause and reflect, and I want you to brain dump. I want you to write down everything that comes to mind, what words pop up, what images are happening. No matter if you are expecting or supporting someone, or in the postpartum period, or you're just curious, whatever context it is, just write from that point of view and write from that place of where you are taking ownership, where you are owning something. And so these questions will be in the show notes too, so you can see them and have them there. But if you are pausing this right now and you're taking time to write out these questions, set a timer for, I would say, 3 to 6 minutes so that you have 1 to 2 minutes per question and respond to these 3 questions. Number 1, what aspect of your life or your upcoming birth do you want to own right now? Number 2, what small step can you take this week? And number 3, who can I ask for support and what will I ask them for? And like I said, this is the same exercise that I guided the audience through live. If you weren't there, now you get to have those questions and hopefully give yourself the time that you deserve to answer them. And if you are re-listening to this, maybe go through it again, do the exercise again, because it can always change and shift depending on what season we're in, what aspect of pregnancy we are in, whether we're in the postpartum period. These questions are always changing, and they're always good to come back to and reflect upon. And so whether you're hearing this episode or whether you are with me in person, the message is seriously all the same. You've already done the hardest part. Even if it's showing up here, listening to the podcast, discovering this way of thinking, or if you had shown up to our event, experienced the energy that was in the room and the other conversations and aspects of the day, you get to take ownership. You get to create that one spark. You get to create the environment and have the fuel present. You get to honor yourself and honor this moment and own your story. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you later. Thank you, mamas, so much for listening. Remember, you are a rock star. I believe in you. Let's doula this. Let's crank it up a notch and let's kick it into high gear together. Hit that subscribe button, share this episode with a friend, message me, email me, call me, beat me. You know how to reach me. We're doing this, mamas. I am so excited to catch you here next week. This is your one-stop go-to place for helping you find the resources you need to make the best choices for you and your family during pregnancy, birth, and most importantly, postpartum. See you later, mamas.